Hello, friends. Bitcoin for Canadians here. It's Patrick. I wanted to share with you just a recent post from Dr. Craig Wright. He prefers to be called Doctor in one of his recent court cases. He submitted a request to the judge, say, rather be called Doctor. And the judge declined, saying it didn't really have anything to do with the case. But anyway, be that as it may, I wanted to go through this post that Craig Wright made. I believe it was posted December 24th. I think he pinned it to his Twitter. And it's a kind of an interesting statement that he made. And I'd like to just approach it from the perspective of a layperson, average Joe in the street. I'm an average laborer, retired investor slash, just your average Canadian, okay? So I'm not approaching it from any kind of background of, programmer or academic or anything like that. I just want to give you my feedback on it, and then you can tell me what you think, right? So he starts off, he says, decentralization is a tool. The question is, do you worship a hammer? So he's inferring that there's people that are worshiping decentralization. Doesn't give any evidence for it, but he just makes that broad statement. So he says the process within Bitcoin was always designed to end in a few data centers that are competitive. Just a few. All right. So he's inferring that decentralization is not the be-all and the end-all. He's saying the process within Bitcoin was always designed to end in a few data centers that are competitive. These systems and operators do not form monopolies because of the competitive nature of Bitcoin. Nodes may come and go at will. So he's saying that there's only going to be a few data centers. Good for him, okay. For his BSV, obviously. To this end, we will formalize an agreement that encapsulates the use of the Bitcoin blockchain and the type of transactions that will be covered freely. Every standard transaction will be covered today. Many others will be as well. At nChain Global and at Bitcoin Association, we'll start taking applications to create alternative templates that will become standard. At least 50 new tokens will be delivered within the next year. So he's saying he's going to have 52 new tokens that are going to be running on the BSV blockchain, I guess. All of these standards will be open for public submission. Those that nChain implements will be licensed under this agreement for use on Bitcoin, and in quotes, BSV. So we know, this is what he's presenting here. Within the next 2 weeks, we will publish all of these standards. This will incorporate a growth path, and if your application begins to use thousands or tens of thousands of transactions per second, we will grow to support it. If hundreds of applications use tens of thousands of transactions each second, we will grow to support it. Okay, that's good for him. Now this is interesting where he says, am I asking for money? No. Am I offering you an investment opportunity? No. I'm sorry, that's not what we're looking for. But I do admit on incredibly selfish. I guess he meant to say I'm incredibly selfish. I don't know why he says on incredibly selfish. Opening up such an opportunity to the world will allow many people to make a lot of money. That isn't the plan. The plan is for us to grow and scale Bitcoin globally. If you don't like this, make yourself a new version of Ethereum, Litecoin, or something else. None of those will matter, and all those will disappear. If you don't believe me, I don't care about your loss. I'm not here to help you. I'm head to scale Bitcoin to the world. I guess he meant to say I'm here to scale Bitcoin to the world. He always talking about Bitcoin being able to scale, his version of Bitcoin. And he goes into like millions of transactions per second, even billions of transactions per second. The Visa network apparently only uses 24,000 transactions per second. And then he says, well, it's not just Visa. All the whole banking system is going to take, several 100,000 or 1,000,000 transactions per second. He says only his version of Bitcoin can do that. And he doesn't like the Lightning Network and so on and so forth. But this statement is really like I don't know where he's coming from. It's it's arrogant, and it's blustering, and it's like, you know he admits, he says he's incredibly selfish, or something incredibly selfish about it. If you don't like it, make yourself a new version of Ethereum, Litecoin, or something. You know, if you don't believe me, I don't care about your loss. I'm not here to help you. See, this arrogant attitude. Now he would say, "Oh, that's an ad hominem attack. You call me arrogant." Yeah, an ad hominem attack is an attack against the man, against the purpose. But if the purpose is it doesn't make the attack not well founded. If I say that Justin Trudeau is, you know, an incompetent liar, which to a large extent he is, it's an ad hominem attack. But yeah, it's 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 an attack for a reason, and he gets attacked for a reason. Do people attack him for no reason? No, of course not. They attack him because he's arrogant, pompous, and he's just so, you know I don't know where he gets off on making these kind of statements. Like, what's that going to gain for him? Is that going to gain him anything? No. And of course, he would say, well, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. That's his thing, right? For someone that claims to be a pastor, and then he flips the bird at Michael Saylor, who's a part of this consortium that is trying to, push for open source protocol for Bitcoin, right? And they're suing him, basically suing him to stop saying that he owns the right to Bitcoin, or owns the name Bitcoin, and he's registered Bitcoin. He's got this COPA group, of which Michael Saylor's Microstrategy is a part of, are suing Craig Wright. And he came out with this statement saying, I'll give you a chance. I wonder if I can pull it up here and give you the exact wording on it. I should pull that up as well and show you the exact wording. I don't know if you're going to take advantage of you better quit while you're ahead. It's kind of like, spoken like a bully, right? He's saying, I don't have to give you a break, but I might be willing to give you a break, but it's kind of like your last chance, and then he flips him. He shows a picture of him on a boat holding up the middle finger. It's sad, it's really sad that somebody would act like that and behave that way when they're dealing with something that's so important. And now he's got Calvin Ayre to give his year-end message. It's basically saying, it's going to be Bitcoin and nothing else. Our version of Bitcoin, BSV, is going to be it, and it's your last chance. And then they hired this other guy to be the CEO. So he's got two billionaires on board, this new CEO, a Norwegian billionaire, who's described on his Wikipedia page as being part Gordon Gekko and part Viking. Well, Gordon Gekko is not someone to be proud of. That's the famous guy from Wall Street who said that greed is good. And Calvin Ayre's background is he made his fortune in Bodog, which is a gambling site. So these guys are heavy hitters, and they're playing for keeps, and they think they're going to keep all the marbles for themselves and just say, well, if you don't play our game, we're going to take all our marbles and go home, and we're going to keep all these billions for ourselves, and we're just going to do it our way, and if you don't do it our way, you're wrong. And it just really, really seems very, very, very strange to me. Like, just as a layperson, I'm not going to try and get into anything technical about it or anything like that. I mean, I'm sitting here on the sideline munching popcorn, watching this guy blow steam out, and it's really sad. So I'd like to get your feedback on it. And they're doubling down. Obviously, they're doubling down. They're just saying, oh, this is the year we're taking all the marbles. So I'd like to hear your feedback on it. I think the guy is absolutely blowing smoke, absolutely out to lunch, and doesn't have a leg to stand on, in my opinion. But that's just my gut feeling. And all I have is ad hominem attack. So be it, right? I think the guy is really has a dysfunctional mental problem. But that's just my opinion. and I'm waiting to see how things play out and to see what the net result is, whether Bitcoin SV has a future or whether Bitcoin BTC has a future. I'm waiting to see, which one prevails. When I look at someone like Adam Beck and his calm, peaceful demeanor and listen to, how technical he is and his company Blockstream, what they've produced already that's serving people with, cold storage wallet, a hardware wallet, and a downloadable. The green is I've downloaded it, tested it, and it seemed like a great product. And then they have this Jade hardware wallet, seemed like a great product. Tested that out, and so I'm very impressed with Blockstream as something that's serving people and serving people that want to be a part of Bitcoin, that want to secure some Bitcoin for the future, that want to have it as part of their investment portfolio and use it as a medium of exchange and so on and so forth. So I'm very impressed with Adam Beck and Blockstream. But, Craig Wright, all I see is hot air, and so I'd like to get your feedback on it. And I'm keeping my eyes open and ears open to see how the future unfolds. And if those are the kind of people that are involved in this project, where they're, Craig Wright thinks he's Genghis Khan. He quotes Marcus Aurelius and he thinks, he's a megalomaniac, right? He thinks that he's got all this power and he's got all these degrees, and it's you don't have to be a psychologist to figure out that this is the kind of guy that was severely bullied as a kid, and now he becomes the bully, right? He's like, I'm smarter than everybody, and you're all ignorant, and I'm this mega genius, and I'm going to be like Genghis Khan, and I'm going to take over the entire world. But I'm not in it for the money, but I'm going to take all the marbles and go. They're not in it for the money. You mean to tell me two ex-billionaires that's joining him, this Norwegian guy and then Calvin Ayre, they're not in it for money? Tell me another story that I'm not going to believe. Come on. I'd love to get more feedback on it. So let me know what you think about, and I get the same statement every time I put a video about it. They say, Craig Wright is Satoshi. That's all they know how to say. Craig Wright is Satoshi. Well, I mean, put some substance to it. Make a video, explain yourself, why you think he is, or what do you think he's contributed so far, or what tools are being implemented, or how the technology is growing and it's being adopted here and adopted there, or being taken on, adopted by this company, that company. He's saying he's going to open it up to 50 new token standards. Okay, well, who's going to be behind those tokens, and who's going to license this agreement that he's talking about within the next 2 weeks? If hundreds of applications, he's expecting all these entities or firms or companies to apply to use the Bitcoin BSV protocol. Well, who are all these companies? I'd be interested to hear about that. So if you're going to comment and just say, Craig Wright is Satoshi, well, that doesn't really contribute to anything. That's a circular argument. I've watched, when I first started watching, I watched all his videos with Charles X videos. He did these interviews, and I thought, well, maybe this guy Satoshi, he seems to know an awful lot about it, even though all the data was going over my head and he was talking way above my level of learning. I didn't know. But then I started to dig into it and look into it and who the contributors to the environment and the community was, and I realized, hey, wait a minute. And I saw the judgments that are listed, not one, not two, not three, not four, 5 different judges stating that this individual has not been forthright. What does that tell you about the individual? And who is he surrounding himself with? Who's partnering with him? What type of individuals are those people? Oh, that's ad hominem attack. Well, if the shoe fits, right? If the guy has been denigrated by 5 separate judge is someone who's a lawyer, who is advanced beyond just being a lawyer to be a lawyer of lawyers in charge, the guy who decides on cases. So a judge is not some schmo. I'm just some schmo giving you my opinion, okay? A judge, 5 different judges saying, you know, and you can read the statements that they made about him. That means something. That's you know, if it was 1 or 2 or 3, and of course they debunk all 5 of them. Oh, this is no, we're going to appeal. No, that's not true. No. You reach a point where you say, who are you going to believe after a while? And people are still the same way. Craig Wright is Satoshi. That's their only response. Oh, he's Satoshi. Do your research and you'll find out he's Satoshi. Well, I have been researching, and the more I research, the more I come to the conclusion that this guy, that's my opinion so far. Changed my mind. I appreciate you watching, but the more statements that he makes, the more it makes him look, you know, bad. He makes himself look bad by the statements that he makes, the blustery comments that he makes about anybody and everybody, about, you know, Edward Snowden or whoever, or this guy or that guy, and he'll comment on them and just, you know, I don't know, man. I can't figure it out. But I'm watching. You know, I like to think that I still have open mind. You know, I'm trying to respond to the information I get, but it'd be a relief to know either way. You know, for sure, it'd be good to put the whole thing to rest once and for all. Time will tell. Time will tell. Thanks for watching. Stay humble, stack sats, and Bitcoin BTC is where I'm putting my hope for the future and adoption. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye.